Hello, Maxwell. Hola, Maxwell. I wish I was there with you in person, being able to tell you all this exciting news, but due to the current circumstances, I hope this video does just fine. I'm here to tell you a little bit more about the research we conducted back in March and explain everything. So, just as a little reminder or refresher, is that our goal with this study was to investigate how bilingual children learn how to read. We know that research says that bilingualism improves certain cognitive skills. Um, in our case, we wanted to focus on how children's ability to focus their attention affects their reading or helps with their reading. And there are many bilingual children learning to reading two languages, but we know very little of the actual phonology, that it is the sounds of the words in of each language and how that influences bilingual reading. So this is very, very important because 10% of the United States classrooms are English language learners, which is 5.3 million children currently, which is just so you get an idea of how crazy this number is, it will be the whole state of South Carolina. Um, More than 70% of these children are learning Spanish, but we need to recognize that there's still 150 other languages still learned spoken in American schools. And thank you to you guys and to all the effort of the Maxwell teachers and the principals and the parents. We were able to recruit 82 participants to our study. So that was awesome. Thank you so much. Our results support the linguistic interdependence hypothesis, which is a fancy term to the idea that that literacy skills can be transferred back and forth between languages. So this means that if you're a good reader in one language, you're going to be a good reader in the other languages. So that's exactly what we found on our study. These common cognitive abilities make it possible for bilinguals to transfer cognitive, academic, literacy related skills back and forth. And how is this relevant to you, you might ask? Well, given the strong correlation in between reading in one language or another, the specific language in which students are learning how to read is not necessarily as relevant. It's not as relevant as the actual cognitive skills that the students are developing while actually learning how to read. For teachers and educators, these might be as helpful as they can, so they can focus on the actual process, so connecting letters to the sounds, opposed than just teaching or choosing one language or the other to teaching how to read. So knowing these, it can make it more, it can give you guys that flexibility when doing lesson planning or choosing book assignments. Another important takeaway message is that learning how to read in one language or the other might be easier. There are transparent languages like Spanish where it's very similar how they're written and how they're spoken, and then there are opaque languages like English, which they're written differently than they're spoken. So previous study on bilingual children showed that listening comprehension in a transparent language like Spanish can be a powerful predictor of reading comprehension. Once again, if this process is transferred between one and other languages, it might be best to start with the easiest language. In this case, would be Spanish to learn, or you could also choose whatever language is easier for the student, which also could be English. So our findings support the idea that the specific language in which reading occurs does not seem to be relevant as the underlying abilities that the student develop while learning to read. And I hope these can be freeing for educators because you can use materials based on the actual content and interest independently of what language they're reading on. And finally, I would just like to thank you with all of my heart for all the support, the help, the welcoming me with open arms. I couldn't have done any of this without you. And I hope you find these results as interesting and as fascinating as we did. And I hope we can collaborate in the near future. If you have any further questions or would like to stay in touch, my email is ines.elena@gmail.com. Gracias. Thank you. Adiós.